Hello classmates, today we will mainly learn about bypass systems. We'll understand the function, capacity, and form of the bypass. We know that steam in the middle reheater of the reheating unit. It is arranged in the boiler flue during normal operation. The exhaust steam from the high pressure cylinder of the steam turbine will pass through the reheater, ensure sufficient cooling of the reheater. But when igniting the boiler before starting or stopping the steam turbine without shutting down the furnace, under working conditions such as power grid accidents or load shedding, the high-pressure cylinder of the steam turbine does not exhaust the steam. The reheater will not have steam flowing through it, or insufficient traffic. There is a risk of overheating. To protect the reheater, adapt to the start-stop of the reheating unit. Special requirements are under accident conditions. Each reheating unit is equipped with a bypass system. The concept of roadside system turbine bypass system is a steam temperature and pressure reduction system connected in parallel with the steam turbine. That is, steam does not enter certain flow areas of the cylinder, but it bypasses the steam turbine, and after temperature and pressure reduction, to steam pipelines with lower parameters or the connection of the condenser area system, including high-pressure bypass, also known as primary bypass, low-pressure bypass, also known as secondary bypass, and the whole stage bypass is also called the first stage bypass. High-pressure bypass, it refers to the main steam not entering the high-pressure cylinder of the steam turbine, but after temperature and pressure reduction, the system that directly enters the reheated cold by steam pipeline, also known as primary bypass. Low-pressure bypass, it refers to the reheated steam, do not enter the intermediate pressure cylinder of the steam turbine. But after temperature and pressure reduction, a system that directly discharges condensed steam, also known as secondary bypass. The whole machine bypass refers to the main steam bypassing the entire turbine. The system that is directly discharged into the condenser after temperature and pressure reduction, also known as the primary bypass. Bypass system of reheating unit, all of them are combinations of three different forms of bypass. The function of the secondary bypass system of reheating unit, is a crew on start-stop or something, a regulation and protection system under working conditions. Its main functions are manifested in the following aspects: protect the boiler reheater before boiler ignition and turbine startup or during load shedding by setting up a bypass system, reduce temperature. The depressurized new steam flows through the reheater to achieve the purpose of cooling and protecting the reheater. Coordinate startup parameters and traffic, shorten startup time. The structure of the reheat unit is complex. When the unit starts up, high requirements for steam temperature and temperature rise rates to control swelling and labor pains within the allowable range during the entire startup process of the boiler. Continuously adjust the steam pressure, temperature, and flow rate to meet the requirements of the steam turbine during the startup process. One pipe rotation, one up speed increase, requirements for steam parameters at different stages such as loading. By adopting a bypass system, the starting conditions can be improved. It can be done quickly. Raise the temperature of fresh steam and reheated steam, shorten startup time, extend the service life of steam turbines. Bypass can also improve boiler performance in power grid faults or the operational stability during load shedding of the unit. When there is a power grid failure, or when the turbine is running at load, there is a large amount of remaining vapor. Quick commissioning of bypass system keeps the boiler running at the lowest stable combustion load. Or the unit operates at no load, operate with factory power supply, realize non-stop shutdown without shutting down the furnace. After the fault is eliminated, power generation can be quickly restored, thereby reducing the downtime of the unit. The number of times the boiler is started and stopped. It also has a function of recycling working fluid. Eliminate noise during the start-stop process. The evaporation capacity of the boiler is greater than the steam consumption. At this point, there will be a large amount of steam that needs to be expelled. if the excess steam is directly discharged into the atmosphere, will cause significant supply losses and severe exhaust noise. After setting up the bypass, steam temperature and pressure reduction are discharged into the condenser. We can achieve the goal of recycling supply and the purpose of eliminating noise. It also has a boiler, the function of safety valve when the unit meets the criteria of sudden drop or load shedding using bypass system to discharge steam can reduce the number of actions of the boiler safety door. Let's take a look at the capacity of the bypass. Capacity of bypass system, it refers to the flow capacity of the bypass system. An underrated parameters, the amount of steam that the bypass system can pass through. Ratio to rated evaporation capacity. The larger the capacity of the bypass system, the greater its circulation capacity. Modern large-scale units are responsible for system air conditioning tasks. Flow rate of bypass system need to meet the requirements of protecting the reheater and the requirements for steam flow during sudden load drops and load shedding, and to stir up and shut down. So generally, it is chosen between 30% and 100%. Let's take a look at the form of the bypass system. One-level bypass form. This adopts a single-stage whole machine bypass. Its system is simple, low investment, but the reheater is not protected. There is an air exhaust valve in front of the intermediate pressure combined valve to regulate the reheated steam temperature. This is a three-level bypass form. High and low pressure bypass series connection. Parallel connection of whole stage bypass and high-low bypass. A system is complex, less commonly used. This is our widely adopted approach. Two-stage series bypass system to pole series bypass system. It is composed of high and low pressure bypasses connected in series. After pressure reduction and temperature reduction, through the high pressure bypass, enter the boiler reheater. The reheated steam coming out of the reheater bypass the medium low pressure cylinder of the steam turbine. After temperature and pressure reduction, the low pressure bypass. It is discharged into the condenser to ensure the safe operation of your steam turbine. At the throat of condenser equipped with an expansion and expansion type temperature and pressure reduction device, the steam passing through the low pressure bypass enters the condenser before perform another temperature and pressure reduction. So the two-stage series bypass system actually is a three-level temperature and pressure reduction. Setting of high voltage bypass can ensure under any working conditions protection of reheater. Its bypass valve is more simple application of the system. It is the most extensive. Finally, let's take a look at an example of a bypass system. This system is a two-stage series bypass system, high-pressure bypass system, mainly composed of high-pressure bypass valve and its control system, composition of high-pressure spray, control valve connecting pipeline, high-pressure water spray comes from the outlet main pipe of the feed pump. Low-pressure bypass, mainly composed of low-pressure bypass valve and its control system. Low-pressure spray to control valve, composition of temperature reducer and its connecting pipes. Low-pressure water spray mainly comes from the main condensate system. When the turbine sheds load, the bypass system can be put into operation within 1.5 seconds, fully open within 5 seconds. In order to ensure that the bypass valve operates normally during the unit's operation, in standby mode, before the high and low pressure bypass valves install on steam preheating pipe for each. The purpose is to preheat the bypass valve and its pipelines. When the bypass valve suddenly opens like this, not posing a risk of water shock. Classmates, today we learned about the role of bypass, capacity and form. I hope everyone can review more after class, a system diagram that can silently generate a bypass and flexibly apply it to future analysis and problem solving. That's all for today's class.